shocking? In an ordinary house outlet that we use to charge the phone, the voltage is
Mm-hmm.
110 volts.
Yep.
A high voltage power line that
Seen
provides
or heard about
electricity to
this
dozens
one.
of buildings has a voltage of 100,000 volts. The energy of one lightning strike is more than 10 million volts. Woo! And the
I
temperature of
personally
lightning
think
is
that
almost
if
twice the
you
temperature of the
are
sun's
already hit by
surface.
lightning once, you're
And
probably
this
more susceptible
incredible
to
charge
it.
is flying at a speed of just 2.5 times
I'm
slower than the speed of
thinking that it
light.
might have
Now
affected
imagine what
your
happens to a person
molecular
when lightning
or
strikes them. Well, let me
ionic
tell you that this charge
system,
passes through
and
the
you're
body in one
going to be
hundredth of a
more
second.
susceptible for that
Lightning can stop our
reason
hearts
for
and disrupt the
future
work of our
lightning
entire nervous
strikes.
system.
Now, I'm not
You
100%
may
sure
not
on
even
that,
realize what has
but
happened at first.
um,
Perhaps you will lose consciousness
that's
and your
what it
body
seems
will be in a
like,
state of
because
shock.
there's so many people in this world
Every
that don't
day,
get
there are
hit
several
ever,
million lightning
and
strikes
then
in the
there's
world.
certain people that just get
Fortunately,
hit
you have little
multiple
chance of
times.
getting hit by one.
There has to be something about the person,
The
whether it's
odds that
something
lightning
on
will
them or
strike
in
you
them,
is about
that makes them more
15,300 to
susceptible
1. About 20,000 people
to
are
multiple
struck by
strikes.
lightning every year. The chances that lightning will strike you twice are even smaller. And what are the odds that you'll be struck by lightning 7 times throughout your life? It seems impossible, but one person experienced it for himself. His name was Roy Sullivan. He was born in 1912 in Greene County, Virginia, in a big family with 7 children. Roy was an ordinary guy and was no different from his brothers and sisters. But
Wow,
for
it's
some
an
reason, the
animation.
natural element chose
I think
him.
I've seen
In
interviews for this
1936, he began
individual.
working as a ranger at Shenandoah National Park. There, lightning struck him 7 times over 35 years. So the first accident happened in April 1942. On that day, a strong thunderstorm began. Roy took refuge in a new fire tower where builders hadn't installed a lightning rod. Lightning struck the building several
Oh
times. A
goodness.
massive fire started inside and Roy ran out. As soon as he was a few feet away from the shelter, lightning hit his toe and burned a hole in his shoe. The next time occurred 27 years
I
later.
honestly think that's the
July
luckiest
1969.
thing ever.
Roy was
Getting
working in
hit
the national
on
park.
your foot,
He was driving a truck through
and
hilly
it'll be
terrain when a
grounded
storm started.
pretty quickly.
Lightning struck him through the open
The
car
problem
window.
is when
The
lightning
charge burned his
goes
eyebrows,
near your
eyelashes,
heart or
and
through
slightly
your
touched his
body
hair.
and through
Roy
your
lost
heart.
consciousness, and the car continued to move. It stopped at the very edge of a cliff.
When lightning hits
15 minutes
you
later, Roy came to his senses.
extremities, that was the word I was
A
looking
year
for.
later, in July
Doesn't go through your
1970,
heart, you're
the
a little
third
bit better
time
off
occurred.
usually.
The weather was fine, but in a matter of minutes, clouds became thicker and a thunderstorm began. Lightning struck a transformer near Roy. The man ran away as fast as possible, but nature got him again. Lightning hit his shoulder. 2 years later, in
Wow,
1972,
2 years later.
lightning struck Roy for the 4th time while he was working at the National
I
Park
think on
Station.
this one, it may be partially
charge
based
set
on
his
his
hair
career
on fire,
path, how
And the man
susceptible
ran to
he
the
is
bathroom and used a
as
wet towel
well.
to put out the flames
He's
on
just
his burning
always
head.
out in
From that moment,
nature,
Roy began to suspect that some invisible
potentially
evil force had been
often
pursuing him.
during
He
thunderstorms.
started to carry a bottle of water with him to put out the fire in case of another hit. The 5th strike happened in the national park again. It occurred
Wow.
in 1973. Roy tripped over a rock and fell. At that moment, he noticed thunderclouds in the sky. Frightened, he ran to his truck, got inside, and stepped on the gas. Roy drove as far from that spot as possible. Then he stopped and got out of the car to see where the storm was. And
Wow,
at that
that is
moment,
insane.
lightning struck again. It went through his left arm and left leg and set his shoe on fire. Roy quickly climbed back into the truck and extinguished the fire using his water bottle. In 1976, the 6th case occurred. Roy was walking along a trail in the park, just 1 mile away from the place where lightning struck him the last time. And then storm clouds appeared again. Lightning flashed and stung Roy in the palm. After the 6th strike, he began to suspect something was wrong with the park. After 40 years of working, Roy finally decided to quit. Finally. He hoped the lightning would stop chasing him, but he was wrong. By that time, the man had already become a celebrity, but such fame didn't let him enjoy life. People were afraid to be near him. because they believed the lightning could hit them at any moment. Journalists gave Roy Sullivan the nicknames Spark Ranger and Human Lightning Conductor. Of course, the man disliked all of this and felt very lonely. But besides this problem, he also suffered from constant fears and the feeling
Yeah,
of
that's kind of stressful.
all the time. He was waiting for the lightning to strike again. at any
But
moment.
I would just ignore the haters,
His
man.
wife supported him and helped him in everything.
It's not like
After
you
quitting
asked
his
to be
job,
hit
Roy
by
decided to move
lightning.
with his wife to the small
Lightning
town of
does what
Dooms,
lightning
Virginia.
does.
Wow, Dooms. Talk about foreshadowing. It was only a year without accidents. Then, on June 25th, 1977, lightning struck Roy again. He went fishing at the local pond early in the morning. The catch was good, but the sky was overcast. Roy immediately felt there would be a strike. There was a smell of sulfur
Wow.
in the air, and the hairs on his arms
Yes,
stood on end.
indications of
His whole
lightning.
body tensed.
Your
Lightning
hair
struck
will
Roy
stand
in
on
the head,
end.
passing through his chest and stomach. The man ran to his car to take cover. At that moment, a hungry bear came out of the forest. He approached Roy's bucket of fish to pick up all the trout the man had caught. Roy ran out of the vehicle with his hair on his head smoldering to chase the animal away. After the seventh lightning strike, he lost hearing in his left ear and realized he couldn't hide from the lightning anywhere. His wife was afraid to be with him outside during a thunderstorm. One day, she was hanging laundry in the backyard. Roy came out of the house to help her. A few minutes later, lightning struck his wife. Fortunately, she wasn't
Wow.
badly injured. After that, besides fear and social loneliness, he felt guilt. Of course, many doctors and scientists tried to help Roy, but no one managed to find the reason for this strange phenomenon. According to science, each time it was just a coincidence. Mathematics and
See, I
physics were
really don't
powerless here.
believe in it being
With such
purely
answers
a
from scientists,
coincidence.
Roy believed that invisible forces were pursuing him, or that fate
I
was punishing him for
disagree
something.
with this.
Perhaps the answer lies in the man's past. The
I
National
think it's
Park Service
partially
and
statistically
doctors
based on his
documented all
career,
7 times
being
when he
in
was struck by lightning.
nature, surrounded by
But there was
trees,
another 8th
all the time.
which couldn't be confirmed.
Situationally, he was in the
According
right
to
place
Roy,
at the right time,
lightning
apparently, to
struck him
get
in his youth
hits.
when he was helping his father mow wheat. The discharge hit the scythe blade. No one but the boy saw it. Perhaps at that moment, the lightning changed something
Yes,
in his
see,
body,
that's what I
made
think.
him
He was more attractive
for the
to
next
future
blast.
strikes
Lightning always chooses
after
the path of
getting
least
hit by the
resistance.
first one.
And this is how lightning occurs. Rain, ice, and snow particles collide with one another inside a storm. This process increases the imbalance between
Ooh, I
clouds and the
love
ground,
it.
negatively charging the lower layers of clouds. Things down there, like trees and the earth, get positively charged and create another imbalance. Nature tries to remedy this imbalance between the two opposite charges by passing an electric current through them. Perhaps nature felt some charge imbalance in Roy's body and tried to remedy it. But why did he get struck at an interval of 1 to 2 years? Besides, more than 20 years passed between the first and second hit. Scientists still can't explain what happened to him. Maybe Roy was just an attractive guy. As you can probably predict, Roy Sullivan was listed in the Guinness Book of Records as the person struck by lightning most often in the world.
Yeah.
That's
Not
it for today.
fun.
So hey, if you pacified your curiosity,